we did a study where we tried to induce gratitude in our participants, get them to be more grateful. Gratitude is defined by Bob Emmons, he's the world expert on gratitude, so he's amazing. He defines gratitude as a felt sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. And I'm not actually going to go into this very much, but in terms of the question of why do we think that gratitude and appreciation would make people happier, I think there's lots and lots of answers to that. Gratitude helps us savor our positive experiences. It leads us to be more helpful. It prevents us from taking things for granted. Gratitude also neutralizes negative emotions. You know, it's almost impossible to feel grateful and at the same time to feel greedy or envious or bitter or anxious, right? It's sort of a neutralizer of negative emotions. So many, many reasons why becoming more grateful would lead people to become happier. Okay, so in this study, very simple study, participants were instructed to count their blessings, to keep a gratitude journal for 6 weeks. And we had 3 groups. In one group, we had people count their blessings once a week. So every Sunday night, you write down what you're grateful for, or 3 times a week, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And we had a control group that didn't do anything. Now, we have other studies where we have much better control groups, but in these particular ones, we just have a control group that we just follow them across time. Okay, so the instructions were, there are many things in our lives, both large and small, that we might be grateful about. Think back to the events of the past week, and write down, you know, up to 5 things for which you're grateful. And I'll give you some examples that students listed. You'll be happy to know that by far, the most common response was mom. So dads, I should say dads were definitely mentioned as well, just not as commonly. Sorry. There was this one woman who kept talking about lotion, and it turned out that she had a skin condition, and she found this lotion that really helped, and she was really grateful for it. Again, gratitude often is about appreciating those little things that we take for granted, the comforts that we take for granted. It actually is amazing how fast it is. I actually remember, what was it, maybe a couple months ago, I went to Wells Fargo, which is my bank, and I discovered that, you know, you don't have to use those envelopes anymore to deposit checks. I mean, it's just amazing. You just go put the check right in there, and it scans it for you. It gives you a picture of the check. And I was so happy. I thought this was great. But it took me, what, like a day, you know, an hour to totally take that for granted, you know, and then get used to that. And now I just expect that every time I go to the ATM that I could do this, right? So we just take things for granted so quickly and easily that we really need to put effort into not taking them for granted, to try to appreciate and be grateful for those things, even when they're little things. And the big things, of course, as well. Yeah, these are college students. That's why they're such funny responses. Okay, so we measured happiness by using several validated scales of well-being, where we just ask people in general, how happy do you consider yourself? This is a 4-item scale, and this is also in my book. Here's a scale that measures life satisfaction, which is just 1 item. How do you feel about your life right now? You know, is it terrible? Are you delighted with it? It's called the Terrible Delighted Scale. I kind of like it, although it only has 1 item, which is a little bit problematic. Okay, so, but we had several scales we used. So first we wanted to see, were we successful in inducing gratitude? And we were, but look at what happened. So this is, these bars represent changes in gratitude and gratefulness from before the 6-week intervention to after. And people did become more grateful after the intervention, but only in the condition of only those participants who counted their blessings once a week. You see, they increased in their gratitude. People who did it 3 times a week in the control group, there was no change in gratitude. So we'll sort of talk about that. Now, the key variable is happiness. We were successful in getting people to become happier just in these 6 weeks. And by the way, this is a really trivial intervention. I mean, they're just writing down 5 things that they're grateful for. This is, imagine any other intervention in your life, like spending time with friends or working out at the gym or going to see a therapist. That's a lot more time than just a few minutes a week. So we were successful in getting people to become happier, but only for those participants who counted their blessings once a week. Now, notice that the control group actually got less happy, and I can talk about that later. Basically, because it's a student sample, we found that with students, they always start the quarter or the semester really gung-ho and enthusiastic and happy, and then they get less happy as sort of they have to start working and doing their homework and having midterms and papers. But anyway, so it only worked for the once a week counting blessings condition, not the 3 times a week. So why is that? And I'd love to hear your thoughts maybe after the talk. Basically, we felt that, and this is on average, so it's not true for everyone, we felt that having people count their blessings 3 times a week was just too much. That perhaps it became kind of a chore for them, maybe monotonous, maybe they had trouble thinking of things to be grateful for, and once a week was just perfect. Now, some people come to me and they say, but you know, I do this every day, and it really works. And I say that's good, because one of the themes of my book and of my research is that fit is critical, that for some people, counting your blessings every day might be effective. Now, I found in that study, on average, it was once a week.